Last class, we have used the method of contradiction to prove non-regularity, and today we are going to discuss a lemma which can be used to formulate a game for proving non-regularity. And hence, the topic that we are going to discuss is pumping lemma for regular languages. So we can formulate the lemma statement in terms of DFA for a language. Let A be a DFA and Y be a input accepted by the DFA such that length of Y or the number of characters in Y is greater than or equal to the number of states in the DFA. If the length of the path is greater than or equal to the number of states in the DFA, then from the previous lecture we know that there exists a loop in the path for Y in A. Say, how will the path for Y look like? There is a loop. If there is a loop, then this is the structure of that path. And now you call this part of the string as U and this loop as V and this as W. Any name, I am calling it as UVW. If the length of Y is greater than or equal to the number of states, then we are guaranteed to get a loop. Then you can say that Y can be decomposed into UVW. And if this is the case, then we can say that U V to the power I W is in the language of A for all I in N0. N0 means natural numbers with a 0. And why? Because if you substitute I as 0, what is U V raised to 0 W? V raised to 0 is by definition epsilon. U epsilon W is UW is in the language because you have UW path taking you to a final state. And if you substitute I as 1, UVW is what you are getting. UVW is ending in a final state in the language. And what is UV square W? UV again W. So for all I, UV to the power I W is in the language. And now this is enough to formulate the statement of the pumping lemma. And before we understand what this statement is, try to understand what this figure is. So what I did is I took this as such, and this is taken as such here. This is Y. And in this case, we assume that Y is in the language. Y is the string accepted. And now I am assuming for this statement that X, Y, Z is the string accepted. X, then Y. Y is exactly this. And Z. Okay, this is the path that I am going to use to define the pumping lemma. So what is this path? X, U, V raised to I, W, Z. This is exactly what I am telling here. X, U, V raised to I because V is a loop. W, Z. Okay, this is exactly what I am trying to say here. And now we can see what this statement is saying. If L is a regular language over an alphabet set sigma, then, and what is this formula? We are actually saying this, and in this part of the formula I am defining U, what is X, what is U, what is V, W, Z, and that is it, and what is also I. This is exactly what I am saying. So this is the formula, and for utilizing these variables, I want to say what are these variables. These are called bound variables, and in these boxes what we have is definitions for the bound variables. And here I am saying K is a natural number. That's what I am saying. K is a natural number. X, Y, and Z are strings such that X, Y, Z, the concatenation of X, Y, and Z is a string in the language. And the length of Y is greater than or equal to K. K is what I am saying. I have generalized it. Here it is the number of states in the DFA. But in general, I can say that it is any number greater than or equal to this. Later we can see that. So K is a natural number. I am saying that XYZ is in the language where the middle string Y is having length at least K. And then we have to split Y into UVW. So I am saying that there exists 3 strings UVW such that I can split Y into UVW, where V is not null string. Why? Because this is a DFA. So the length of the loop cannot be 0. 0 is possible only if epsilon transitions are there. In a DFA, epsilon transitions are not there. Hence I can say that V is not the null string. And now I have to say what is I? I is any natural number. So don't confuse. This is now an easy to understand formula. This is what I am saying. X, U, V raised to I, W, Z is in the language where what is X, Y and Z are strings. Such that Y, length of Y is at least K, a natural number. And what is Y can be split into UVW. And then for all natural numbers I including 0, this is there. X, U, V raised to I, W is in the language. And in order to get a loop in the path for Y, what should be the length of Y? The length of, so this is actually the formula where the bound variables are used. That is what I am saying here. And in order to get a loop in the path for Y, we need K at least the number of states in the machine. Okay, K can be a natural number which is greater than or equal to Q. In this case, we fixed it as Q, but it is generalized. It could be any value greater than or equal to the number of states in the DFA. So that is the pumping lemma. Okay, no need to by heart. The pumping lemma is just saying this: X, U, V raised to I, W is in the language, and other things are the definitions of these variables. What are these variables? And this is a necessary condition for regularity, meaning any regular language must satisfy this condition. Otherwise, if a language fails to satisfy this condition, then the language is non-regular. So that is a nice thing. So pumping lemma can be used to prove non-regularity. If you can prove that a given language is not satisfying the pumping lemma statement, then the language is non-regular, and that is the application of pumping lemma. And we are going to formulate a game using pumping lemma, and the game will be formulated in terms of the negation of this formula. And so we need to know how to find the negation of a formula. So try to understand it with a simple example. Negation of a statement. Here is an example statement. Is the predicate for all n in the natural numbers with 0? So n can be any natural number or 0. N minus 1 is say in n naught. N naught is natural numbers with 0. For all n in n naught, n minus 1 is also in n naught. Is it a true predicate? And a predicate is a statement whose value is either true or false. A statement whose value is either true or false can be known as a predicate. Is this a true predicate, saying that for all natural numbers including 0, n minus 1 is 0 or more? Can you say that it is true? The answer is no. Then how will you prove that the answer is no or the predicate is false? One method is you prove that the negation of the predicate is true. In fact, we have to prove that the predicate is false. For that, what we can do is, if we can prove that the negation of the predicate, the negation of this formula is true, then we can conclude that this formula is false. Later we can see why negation. Now try to find the negation of this formula. What is the negation of this formula? If you recall what you studied in the discrete maths, the basics of mathematical logic, if you recall it, you know what it is. Anyway, it is having two parts. One is the definition of the bound variable. We are saying that n is a bound variable, n is any natural number including 0. N can be 0 or more. Then we are saying that for any such n, n minus 1 is in n naught. This is the formula. So we need to negate this part, which is the definition of the bound variable, and then the formula. We need to negate two things: the definition of a bound variable and a formula using the bound variable. And the result is this. And why is it so? Because negation of for all n in n naught is, when you take negation inside, for all should be replaced with there exist. Okay, that is how you negate. So when you negate a definition of a bound variable, for all becomes there exists, and that is the negation. Then how will you negate a formula? What is this formula? N minus 1 is an element of n naught. So its negation says n minus 1 is not an element of n naught. So that is exactly what I did. Now you look at this formula. It is easy to prove this formula because the formula says there exists a number which is a natural number or 0, such that if you subtract 1 from that number, you are getting a number which is not 0 or any natural number. So if you can find any one n satisfying this, then you are getting a proof. And if you substitute n as 0, what is n minus 1? It is minus 1. Is minus 1 an element of n naught? No. So you are finding a value of n satisfying this formula. And 1 is enough because there exists an n means 1 or more. And proving it is easy. But in this case, you have to prove that for all natural numbers, it is difficult. And that is why for proving for all kind of formula, what you do is you negate it. So you will get a there exists formula. So if you can find one value for which this formula is correct, then you are done. Okay, so with this we proved it. So it is known. This formula is known. And with this example, we wanted to understand what is the negation of a formula. And we saw what we can do to negate the definition of a bound variable and to negate a formula. N minus 1 is in n naught, then the negation is n minus 1 is not in n naught. And to negate the definition of a bound variable, for all will become there exist, and there exist will become for all. That's what I am trying to say here. Now negation of for all x phi of x. Phi of x is a formula. Okay. Negation of for all x phi of x is there exists an x negation of x. There is a typo, sorry. There exists an x negation of x. So I have to say that there exists an x negation of x. I will change the slide and send you. Okay. And if it is negation of there exists an x phi of x, you have to say that negation of, for all x, negation of phi of x. So for all x becomes there exists an x, and phi of x becomes negation of phi of x. This should be negation of phi of x. Here it should be for all x, negation of phi of x. I will change the slide, change the mistake in this slide and send you the slides later. Okay, from this slide, what I try to explain is how can you negate a formula. And the application is also clear, I think. Now look at the Pumping-Lemma statement. This is the Pumping-Lemma statement. And I want to negate the Pumping-Lemma statement. This is the negation. We can see what we are doing. Here it is, there exists a k which is a natural number. So we are changing it to for all k natural number. That is what we have to do. And here is the second definition of bound variables. For all x, y, z in x, y, z strings with x, y, z in the language and length of y greater than or equal to a. How will you say it? There exists x, y, z. That is the only change. Okay, these are not formula, these are actually quantification, these are actually properties of this bound variable. That property should be taken as such. Okay, and next bound variable is there exists UVW. So this becomes for all UVW. These are conditions on the bound variable, so no need to change it. Take it as such. And the next bound variable definition is for all natural numbers I. So here it is, there exists a natural number I. And now at last we need to negate phi of x, that is a formula. So what is phi of x? This string is in the language. So the negation is this string is not in the language. So that is the negation. So I hope you followed. Otherwise, see it offline and see what's it. And we know that if a language fails to satisfy the Pumping-Lemma condition, then the language is non-regular. Or equivalently, you can say that if a given language satisfies the negation of the Pumping-Lemma condition, then the language is non-regular. Very similar to what we did here. We need to prove that this predicate is false. For that, we prove that the negation of the predicate is true. Similarly, here we want to prove that the given language is not satisfying the Pumping-Lemma condition. Rather than doing it, we are proving that the given language is satisfying the negation of the Pumping-Lemma condition. That's what we are going to do. Now let us formulate the game. A game GL induced by a language L, and take the negation of the Pumping-Lemma condition, exactly the negation I copied. And if you carefully look at this formula, you can see that the bound variable definition is an alternating sequence of for all and there exists. See, for all k, there exists, for all, there exists. Then a formula is defined. So alternating sequence of for all and there exists. In such a case, you can formulate this as a game between you and a demon. And the demon will play the for all cases and you will play there exist cases. See that the demon is first doing this. The demon will give you a natural number. It could be any natural number. Then it is your turn. What you have to do? You can select some strings x, y, z such that x, y, z in the language and the length of y is greater than or equal to k. That is what you can do. And then it is the demon's turn. What she or he can do? Sorry, it's a demon for all. So the demon can select u, v, w strings such that y can be subdivided into u, v and w. Y is equal to u, v, w. The only condition that you can assume about this is the string v is not null string, and then it is your part. You can select a natural number, and that is the game. So the game has only 4 steps. In the first step, the demon provides you a natural number. Second step, you can select x, y, z such that the concatenation of this is in the language with the length of y greater than or equal to the number that the demon is giving you. Then the demon will subdivide or divide the middle string y into u, v and w such that the string v is not epsilon. Then finally you can just select a natural number or 0. That's what you can do. That is the game. And what is the result? You win the game if the formula is true. That is x, u, v raised to I, w, z is not in the language. Then you win. You are trying to prove that the language is non-regular. So finally, when you substitute a value for I, if the resulting string is not in the language, then you win. Otherwise, the demon wins. Okay, and from the Pumping-Lemma statement, you know that if the language is regular, you are trying to prove that the language is non-regular. So if the language is regular, then the demon has a winning strategy in GL. Equivalently, if you are having a winning strategy, you have a winning strategy in GL, then L is non-regular. Okay, so if L is non-regular, you have a winning strategy. Whether or not you are going to win depending on how you play the game. Okay, but you will have a winning strategy certainly if the language is non-regular. We can try to apply this game in the language, for the language that we proved as non-regular using the method of contradiction in the last class. Let us move on to it. So here is the language a raised to n, b raised to n, where n is greater than or equal to 0. The first step has to be played by the daemon. Daemon is providing you the value of k as some natural number m. M is what the daemon is giving. You cannot assume anything about m other than that it is a natural number. Now it is you. You can do this. You choose x as null string, y as a to the power m. M is what the daemon has given you, and z as b to the power m. So what is x, y, z? X, y, z is epsilon a to the power m, b to the power m. That is a to the power m, b to the power m, which is in the language. That is the only condition you want to satisfy. And also note that the length of y, which is m, is greater than or equal to the number that the daemon has given you. So you met your condition. You are done. Now it is the daemon's turn. What the daemon can do is, now you are giving the daemon only a's in y. So the daemon can subdivide this m number of a's into 3 strings. So that u is a to the power n1, v is a to the power n2, and w is a to the power n3, because only a's are there in y. And here m is nothing but n1 plus n2 plus n3. And you know that the daemon must satisfy this condition that the middle string is not epsilon, that is n2 is not equal to 0. And it is your turn now, and suppose you choose I as 0 and see what happened. What is x u v raised to I w z when I is 0? You know that x is epsilon, and what is u? U is a to the power n1, and v raised to I, whatever b is, v raised to I when I equal to 0 is epsilon. V to the power 0 is epsilon. Whatever b, the value of n2, v to the power 0 is epsilon, followed by w. W is a raised to n3, and followed by z. What is z? Z is v to the power m. And so this is the string. So you can rewrite this as a to the power n1 plus n3 followed by b to the power m. And this can be rewritten as a to the power m minus n2. Why? Because m is equal to n1 plus n2 plus n3. So if you subtract n2 from m, you will get n1 plus n3. So this is exactly what you are saying. And this is not in the language because n2 is non-zero. You are getting a to the power m minus a positive number followed by v to the power m, which is not in the language. So the string is not in the language, hence you win, meaning the language is non-regular. Okay, that's the game. And I hope you understood what I said, and you can watch it offline and see what exactly is going on. And one more thing before we wind up, pumping lemma is not a sufficient condition for proving regularity. We saw that it is a necessary condition, meaning if a language is regular, then it must satisfy the condition. That is, it is a necessary condition. But it is not a sufficient condition, meaning a language satisfying the condition is not enough for that language to be a regular language. For example, there exist non-regular languages for which the daemon has a winning strategy in the game. And if you are interested in, as an optional exercise, find such a non-regular language for which the daemon is having a winning strategy, but the language is not regular. If you are interested in, please go and try it. And with this, I am moving to the last slide where I am giving you a number of assignment questions you prove that each of these four languages are non-regular. Use pumping llama, formulate a game, and prove that these languages are non-regular. When you play the game, you don't assume anything more about what the demon is saying. Initial case, demon will give you a natural number which is greater than or equal to the number of states in the DFA. And in this step, whatever you give as y, demon will subdivide it in such that the middle string is not epsilon. And these are the only thing that you can assume about what the demon is saying. Okay, although if you assume anything stricter than this, then the proof is not correct. So remember it. So today we have learned the pumping lemma for regular languages, and we saw how the negation of the pumping lemma can be formulated as a game that you can play with the demon, and if you win the game, that means the language is non-regular, assuming that demon has played well. Okay, thank you.